Hello, I am Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and I'm going live again with two screens and a Matilda in my lap, so we'll see how it goes. I will wait just a few minutes for people to pop in. We are currently leading up to, depending on where you are in the world, Monday, the full moon in Cancer. We have a Venus retrograde that we're wrapping up with, and we are just going into a Mercury retrograde, which I really like the whole concept of thinking about Mercury retrogrades as all the REs. Rewriting, reworking, revising, renegotiating. You get the idea. So not something, sure, you might take into consideration and allow for some things possibly to occur, like your technology acting up, different things. Like it's good to go back to things you've already been working on, again, and revise, rework, renegotiate, that kind of thing. It's not necessarily the best time to start new things, but sometimes life happens, right? Communication can get a little complicated or misconstrued, perhaps. All sorts of things. This full moon in Cancer is a beautiful time with the Venus retrograde to rework, renegotiate your feelings, perhaps in relationships, your inner child healing, and also reconnecting. We have to heal the inner child, but that's reconnecting with your inner child. It's not like you're healed, bye-bye now. It's a reconnecting with your inner child and living together in that joyful, imaginative, playful energy. A lot of times you will have the dialogue where we're to balance our inner masculine and our inner feminine, or divine masculine or divine feminine, balancing our action and our intuition, to put it very simply. But you also have to balance that inner child with wherever you are currently on the journey, whether that be juvenile, young adult, mid-adult, adult, let's wax poetic on that. There's so many phases of life. It's not simply maid, mother, crone, is it? So anyway, babbling along, I am allowing time for people to join, but it is the crack of dawn where I live. So perhaps there won't be but so many people joining in, and I will just talk to the collective as I will. One thing that they want me to do, and it will feel very absurd, and maybe it's nice that no one's on live quite yet, so I'll just go ahead and do it. Matilda might think I've gone nuts and start barking. We'll see. But hello. Here we go. This is wild, but the birds want to come out. Are we ready? And people who've known me for a while, like if I see you from afar and I need to get your attention, I would go caw. So here we go. Chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee, caw, caw, chickadee, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do was nuts. And I'm wild tingly right now. I don't know why they want me to act a fool on live channels for the world, but it is who I am. Yes, glorious morning to you as well. I have one person joining. You know, part of the journey, the process is building the faith with that inner dialogue that prompts you and a lot of times pushes you out of your comfort zone. And let me tell you, I mean, it's weird how, like, if I were to see my friend in public, I would not think anything in the Trader Joe's parking lot to scream caca until I got your attention. No big deal. But I will admit, to do it as such, how bizarre. But here we are. I'm supposed to be myself wherever I go. And that's the other dialogue, is like, a lot of times, you know, especially if you're going on a particular path of like a spiritual journey or trying to learn something of any type, right? You're like, I want to do it just so. I want to do it right. I want to make sure that I'm the best at it that I can possibly be. And one of the things I keep, thank you very much, White Jennifer J. Like, I was in meditation just the other day. Actually, I was in the bathtub. Anyway, and lying there, and I was like, how do I be the best me I can possibly be? And inner dialogue, you already are. Yeah, duh. You already are the best you, no matter when, because you're right then, and you're doing the best you can. So stop beating yourself up. Self-flagellation, right? We do it so much to ourselves. We beat ourselves up unnecessarily. We're that inner critic as opposed to like the inner critique. You know, there's a difference. The supporter, like positive feedback, you know. We also tend to make everything so dire and awful, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, sometimes it is. It is what it is. But I'm a funny combination of, I've been told I'm like a feral cat at times, sure, but I'm also Pollyanna. So I try to be wild and instinctual, but see the good, see the positive, what I can work with in a good, highest good vibration. That's for me and everyone involved. You know, I try to be the perfect salty and sweet, I suppose. Isn't that, like, if we beat ourselves up about our salty parts, that's not going to be in balance, right? Temperance. We have to mix all of it together just perfectly so. Like Mary Poppins, let's reference back to that delightful, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Yeah, it's that a spoonful of sugar, a little bit of spice, some salt, you know, depending on what you're making. I mean, everyone has their own flavor profile, right? So find that balance of yourself, the inner child, your inner adult, your inner in between, you know, bring it all together. And one of the things, my earliest meditation, and I'm waving to everybody, was to just meditate. Again, a lot of times I do meditate in the bathtub. Water is very helpful for me. I lie there and I just imagine that I'm a lotus floating in the ocean. And I do not have to worry whatsoever. I just float, bobbing along The ocean can do whatever it needs to do around me, and I am secure. Somehow, magically, in my lotus form, my roots go down and I'm connected, but I can travel freely, safely, wherever the current goes, as I'm divinely led. Like, I think about those, Greek, Roman myths, what have you, whatever, where somehow the demigod gets cast into the ocean, usually in some sort of little box or something, and they float along and make it to this island, and they're supposed to die, and it's supposed to be awful, but somehow, some way, they triumph, they prevail, persistence, divine gifts, blessings, going with the flow. It's all you can do, Life gives you lemons. Lemon water is really good for you. I mean, protect your teeth, the enamel and all, but flush your system. Use what you are working with or what's around you to work with. Let's rephrase that. And persist. Keep going. Don't give up. I mean, there's so many times where it's just like, you don't even know how close you are. So why give up? You could be like this far away. So anyway, before I do my card reading, this is another uncomfortable, but this is what wants to come out. I know the words that want to come out, and I can feel them, and I kind of work with them beforehand. The song kind of builds, and then it gets to a point where it's rattling along enough that I have to get it out, right? So here we go. You say you want a revolution. Well, it's inner evolution that you really should be seeking. You gotta go within, not without. It's not external, no, that's not what it's about. You gotta go in and feel your way through. That's the only thing you can truly do. You say you want evolution. Well, you got to self-alchemize. Otherwise, it's demise. You gotta be free. Oh yeah. You gotta be you, not me. Oh yeah. You say you want evolution. Oh yes, I do. Well, you gotta power through. All right, that's all I have for you for that. But feel that vibration. You gotta go in. You got to reconnect all the way through all of your layers. They say you're like an onion. Let me put my eyeballs back on. They say we're like an onion, when I say, because I read a lot, and I like to listen and take it all in and ponder. And I will say, yeah, this is not my first rodeo. So there's a lot of paying attention that I've done, and it all builds, right? So the whole point of life is that we came here to either continue the learning process, perhaps, or we've learned a lot, but there's something else we really need to work through and power through to get to the next stage of the game. So it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. There's something you have to wrap your mind around, something you have to work through in order to kind of unlock the blockage, perhaps. You know, I keep getting this feeling of like, it's like Pandora's box, but again, instead of being a negative, you have to, like, perhaps there was an initial Pandora's box with all the negative coming out, and then that's what made us all go into our little boxes and be scared to come out. But it's the opening yourself up to your own box, and almost like I get this feeling of like a celebratory Jack in the Box where you pop open and all your magical awesomeness can be free. And I also take it in a very strange direction in my mind where it's like James and the Giant Peach, where I become all that green, fabulous, mystical, magical goo that goes every which direction, creating magic and healing everywhere. Because if we're all one, I mean, I'm going to have maximum impact. I go every which way, kind of also fusing in the sword and the stone when Merlin and Madame Mim are fighting one another, the wizard duel. And he wins by turning himself into a virus or infection. And she's this giant dragon. And oh my God, that just fully sinks in. I love the dragon. I don't want to vilify the dragon, but anyway, he infects the dragon and makes her sick and therefore wins. And so I try to imagine both being the green goo that's also the antigen, or again, like in an herbal context, because I'm an herbalist at heart, antigen and adaptogen, all holistic, multiple level layer, every which way in the highest good, all inclusive healing for whatever it is, wherever it is on their healing journey. Again, like as expansive, inclusive at all that one magically can be. You shoot for the moon, hope that you can do your best, and then let it fall as it may. I mean, you're green goo. It's gonna just... Anyway, that's the Charlene magic that I think about. Do it however you want to for yourself. But, there's also a song that likes to play in my mind, and I'll play with this one in my meditations, where it's shoot that, instead of poison arrow, shoot that healing arrow. I won't keep singing. Maybe I should. But shoot that healing arrow. So then imagine your light body self is staring at you in the here and now, and you send your own healing energy from your own higher self straight to your own heart, and you shoot that healing arrow, which could be in its own way an inoculation, or whatever you want to call this, a healing activation of sorts to yourself, for yourself, as yourself. Power of mind, power of thought, taking ownership of yourself, for yourself. Be your own hero, be your own heroine. That kind of vibration. And then throw it up to the cosmos, to the divine, to the powers that be, wishing to work with the energy in the highest good for yourself et al. Like that balance, right? Like Fill your own cup first, but then don't be a jerk. Yes! Spiritual balance. Fill your own cup. Don't be a jerk. That's simple, right? Okay. So, if anyone wants to chime in, please do. I want to, at this point, before I jump into reading cards and all of that, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my channels. Thank you for all of the likes, the shares, the saves. That really helps. I am a small business. Yes, I'm a spiritual guide, but in the material plane that I'm working on, which if I could change, I certainly am trying to will a new existence. But as that is, the perfect ecosystem has not been created quite yet. So yes, I am a small business where I'm trying to help people, and I give a lot out as such. But if you know anyone that would be interested in either card readings or energetic balancing services where I help you on your healing journey, guiding yourself to heal yourself. Like, that's the thing, right? First and foremost, my mom moment. Divination services are not meant to tell you all sorts of stuff about you that you didn't know whatsoever and fix everything for you. Anyone that tries to tell you that, or like reaches out to you like, I have an important message for you from your ancestors. No. Or someone that solicits you, like, that, red flag. I'm just saying, anyone worth their salt, that's not how they conduct their practice. I just don't think so. Sorry. Not sorry. But divination is supposed to help further illuminate what you're already feeling or hearing whispering to you, but you're too afraid to accept or believe for yourself, in yourself. And it's that resonance of like, yes, oh my God, I've been feeling that. Thank you, yes. That's what you should be getting from divination, working with somebody, like someone that helps build the message further and illuminates it for you. But it's your own message. Like, that's the thing as a medium I've really had to work on, is to take myself and my understanding, or my need for understanding, out and just relay. I just relay. I don't need to understand it. It's for you. Now, hold on. I will, through conversation and my empathic nature, I can help you feel it out, and I'm a confidence builder, in a positive, tough love sort of way. Like, I will be real, I will give you the truth, but I will help you see the positive and what to work on through the message, But you have to do your own heavy lifting, right? You have to do your own work. Same with like my energy work, my shamanic energy art. That in and of itself is no different than tarot or any other divination. It's just a different format of going in on a more subconscious level as opposed to a more interactive level, sure, but different playing field. And I help illuminate what you need to work through for yourself, what you need to let go of for yourself, what you need to heal within yourself, but also the magical nature that is you. Because a lot of times what people need the most help with is seeing themselves clearly, freely, without judgment. So that's, in a nutshell, to me, the point of going to somebody and what should be on the table. You know, like, I'm not fixing you. I'm not healing you. You, when you study Reiki, that's the whole point, is that you're the conduit for the universal life force energy to flow through. And it can be Reiki, it could be any word for this energy healing to take place, right? There's so many, semantics. There's so many words. There's so many translations of everything. The point is, again, I'm a medium. I'm a conduit. I am the hollow bone through which I can help guide that to you, for you, to work with on a higher self, light body, energy body, soul body, however you want to say it. I work with you to support and further along. And yes, my own magic goes in, and I'm not saying that I don't take ownership of the fact that I do some pretty fabulous things, but I don't do it for you. We'd work together, right? Same with divination. I don't even need to have a card. Like, if I were to sit down and talk with you, I tap into your collective to convey what I need to you, for you, in the most loving, supportive of ways. Sometimes that's a little tough love, but because sometimes people need a little sternness to hear, right? Like, that mom voice is very effective for a reason. And again, chime in if you want to. I don't mean to just talk at you. But I will say, like, doing lives with 2 screens, so much energy. Again, saying hello to everybody. So much energy, so many people to connect to. It's, but I was gonna do some cards and give you that message. If anyone has any questions or anything in specific about anything, they can chime in and I'll try to read it and get to it. I'm gonna show you the cards that I'm gonna work with. Let me get myself a little bit more organized. I do get a bit twitchy. All right. All right, first we have the Moonology Oracle cards. And I will try to remember to tell you the card before each of them. It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember all the things, right? Like, I am human, right? I don't need to be perfect. That's what I have to keep telling myself, like, nobody likes perfect anyway. Nobody likes a martyr. Nobody likes perfect. So why would you even? I love it when this happens. All right. Full moon in Pisces, not Cancer, but balance, spirituality, and practicality, which is perfect. Again, going back to what I was saying about balancing all your aspects, like your inner child, your inner adult, all of it. Your spirituality with the day-to-day, like, you can't, there are times where I wish I could just crawl in a hole and meditate and just say, goodbye, cruel world, not today. But I can't do that, like, I live here in the material plane, and I gotta keep trucking, right? I gotta keep on keeping on. So balance. There's a time to rest. There's a time to push. There's a time to reflect. There's a time for all things, right? Let's take the bottom of the deck. New moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. Oh, that's beautiful. And thank you. Again, there's always that cycle. You have the full moon, which then wanes away to the new moon. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot happening on my live all of a sudden on YouTube, but we're just going to push that aside. Okay. Sure. Lives. Woo! The world is wild, isn't it? But you and your loved ones are safe. Just exhale. There's a lot of tension. There is a lot of tension out there. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot that we are reworking all over the board, right? Like the planets, if we just look at planets, oh my goodness. Okay. I wish I could not have that dialogue on my YouTube right now, but transmute, 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 highest good for all. Anyway, you and your loved ones are safe. It's time to heal all the parts of yourself that you need to sit with and love, and trust the process if you can for yourself. If you need, find somebody that's trustworthy, that has good energy and is supportive, not trying to sell you a miracle cure. And just for the record, no matter what platform I'm on, I really don't enjoy negativity spewing. So just for the record, I will deal with that at a later date. Ishtar. Oh, not to be waylaid. The goddess knowledge cards. Sorry for the glare. All right, Ishtar. Ishtar is the multi-layered Babylonian creator goddess, the source of all life and embodiment of the power of nature. She's the giver of plenty, a lawgiver, a judge, the goddess of time, as well as the goddess of both love and war. Her name means giver of light and derives from her role as the queen of heaven. She is the planet Venus as both morning and evening star, and her girdle is the zodiacal belt. Ishtar descends to the underworld and restores the vegetation god, Tammuz, to life, and thus restores fertility to the earth. As she descends, she removes a veil at each gate. While she is underground, all life on earth is depressed, and nothing comes to life. Ishtar is a multifaceted power symbol of a forthright mode of being that is unafraid to venture into the depths of the underworld. She represents the creative feminine, active and strong. You know, there's always, well, not always, a lot of times there is duality to gods, goddesses, everything really. And in a lot of these tales, it's told from the thought of there needing to be an external saving or what have you, or an external vexation even, when one could look at it and think, like, for example, when I think of Persephone and Hecate, the tale of Hecate being the friend who helped guide her with the lantern up from the underworld, that to me makes me think of the Hermit card and that inner knowing being Hecate, that higher self that helps guide you from the darkness up. One way of thinking of it. I'm not going to pronounce the names properly, but Amaterasu, the Shinto goddess, the sun goddess, who went into her cave, and then her friend, and that's where I can't remember and pronounce the name properly, but her friend came and danced and was silly and made everyone start laughing and made her come out of the cave, and then distracted her with the mirror and her reflection. Again, one could perceive that as another form of the same. It was another aspect of herself that helped get her out of herself, of that inner cave, that dark place, and let her back out. Even one could look at in Narnia, with when Narnia is under the Ice Queen, the Ice Witch, her ruling, and it's all frozen and awful. I mean, we've done that to ourselves many times. We've gone into that dark, awful, everything's terrible, shut down ice mode, and then have to thaw ourselves with that inner Aslan. Yeah? I mean, wax poetic forever. Where did Ishtar go? Ishtar! Oh, okay. Oh, well. I guess I put Ishtar away. Let's go now. Who do I want it to be now? We're going to go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. Where did Ishtar go? Ishtar. This is where you get to see the full personality. Okay. Ishtar disappeared. I will find Ishtar later. Ishtar is always there. That's funny. Even working through these goddess cards, I mean, they're all one and the same. They're just different perceptions or aspects or locations, versions of. All right, so we're going to go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck for what do we need to work with to best help us in our current situation. Instead of like previously, those were just kind of energetic check-ins. Lightning. $30. So out of the 2 begets the 3, and if you think lightning, it happens when, trying to remember my scientific file. Lightning happens when there's a fluctuation of the temperature change, right? Temperature changes occur, and then you have the moisture. Anyway, all sorts of things go into a thunderstorm, that all the perfect things come together, and then bam, you have that reaction. Interestingly enough, in my meditative journeys for myself, again, I told you about floating as a lotus in the ocean. That's one way to self-soothe and calm your ass down. And again, I'm waving at everybody. In that process, I've had to learn to lower unnecessary defenses and then have healthy barriers, boundaries that permit the good in and deflect in a loving, transmutive, harmonious way what doesn't need to come into my field. It's an ongoing practice, right? I've also been given a sun catcher to put in my solar plexus so that wherever I am, no matter what level of light or darkness, I can catch the light and magnify it, which then I turned myself into my own little disco ball. Yeah. It's a party up in here. A rainbow, fantastic party. That truly, and this is kind of pointed towards the YouTube chatter, I don't really care for labels. I don't really, like, personally don't want to be put, like, now that I've gotten myself out of my own little box that I was keeping myself shut up in, I don't want anyone to try to box me in. Like, I don't necessarily want to be considered as just a woman. No, I am so much more than just a woman, so much more than just a mother, so much more than so many, just one of the many aspects of myself. And the whole point is, in that rambling statement, is don't tune into just one note. No, blend it all together to be that force of nature unto yourself. I mean, not in a terrible, wreaking havoc, lightning strike, bad way, but in a Shazam! Shazam! I'm divine. Here I am. I'm going to rock you in a party-like kind of way. Let's have another card. Then also from the sun catcher, I went to where they had me, my guides, guardians, helpers, ancestors, angels, however you want to perceive this, my crew, my legion of extraordinary beings, guided me to put my lightning rod down into the earth. So that I, again, as a medium, a channel, have that grounding connectivity to the earth, which is important to help me best weather the storm. Chew on that one. Oh, I love it. Okay. And I think my family's going to come in, so Matilda might start barking. But we're going to roll with it, right? Lightning and the wind. Here we go. Anyway, so we have the wind. See this multi-dimensional. Okay, Matilda, do not knock over everything. Come here, Matilda, or go. I don't care. Do whatever you wish. The wind is a multi-dimensional, giving both screens their chance. Multi-dimensional force. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and it knows no bounds. So there are times to also let yourself fly freely on that current of air, just like you'd bob in the ocean. Let yourself be free to flow in that current and tune in. This being has antlers. And the number, oh, now you went back up. Come back up then. Say hi, Matilda. Say hi. Hi, Matilda. It's that alchemization and bringing it all together. Then, wow, look how amazing that transition is. And 9 is that number that's getting close to the end of a cycle. And it's that gathering of all the resources, all the parts and pieces of what you're working with for the next leg of the journey. All right. So then we go to spirit animal wisdom. Kundalini rising, channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. Again, I mean, that goes very well. You know, the lightning process, the alchemization of grounding yourself and letting the energy flow through you. Again, here's the thought. We all have electromagnetic fields. Therefore, we all have our own energetic body. The world around us has its own energy. The cosmos has its own effect on us. So, that being said, we're all conduits. We all are mostly comprised of water. We're all walking conduits here on the earth, feeling all the feelings of everything that we're around. Some of us are more receptive and aware of the feelings. Some of us shove it all down and try to ignore it or numb it out to the best of our capabilities. And it doesn't necessarily work now, does it? No, you're still troubled, aren't you? So you can be resistant. You can try to ignore it, or you can try to field, I don't know if that even makes sense to me, field the energy, I guess, funnel it, direct it, work with it, utilize it, accept the process, and allow. I mean, that's a constant dialogue that I keep having in my head is trust and allow, trust and allow. I keep asking, is there anything I can do? No, trust and allow, trust and allow. I'm a doer. I really like doing. Trust and allow. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. I'm not saying for a second that it's easy, but woo. Graceful transformation. Soften your heart and find your flow. Yeah. That was one, like, you're trying too hard. Like, sometimes it's not all about doing, is it? No, sometimes you just have to soften and flow and allow, and that's the surrendering. Like, and trust me, like, I'm not saying I've gotten there myself, but like, it's that just build that faith, which there's no there's no start and stop to faith building. Faith in yourself, faith in the universe, faith in the process, faith. You just got to keep on keeping on and going with that transformation of self. Because just when you think you know what you're doing, just when you think you know how it's all gonna go, the variables pop in, and you gotta change the tempo, you gotta sidestep, you gotta the current changes. So that in and of itself is part of the learning. You know, when you're a parent, like of a new child, for example, the common sort of dialogue there is just when you think you have a handle on the age that you're at, they change, and you have a whole new list of needs or wants or ways that they engage, and it's a whole new learning curve. So it's the same, like the labyrinth symbol, which is everywhere around the world. It's a symbol that's utilized in spirituality. I realized, the awakening or ascension or expansion, self-alchemy process in and of itself is that in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, 7, however many times, right? That might even be as each case, some people might need 7 times, some people might need 9,000 times, who knows? But it's that trusting and allowing and the going in and out, that ebb and flow, and trusting the current, like the salmon going upstream. Is there any perceivable reason why the salmon should even think that's possible? No, but they do it miraculously. It's that tireless faith. It's exhausting. It is. But keep on doing. All right. Now we're getting close to the end. The essential oil oracle cards. I have this and one other card, and then I will be done. And then let's see. I had somebody ask current feelings, H, and next actions toward me. Will things be better between me and him? My best advice to you on that directly is keep working on yourself and your self-improvement. If a person in your life can work with the changes that are in your self health, how do I say this? If the relationships that you have in your life can adapt and grow with you as you work towards your improvement of self and balance and healthfulness for your own well-being, then keep moving forward. If you create healthy boundaries and they don't allow you to have them, that's your red flag to pay attention to. Everyone's needing to do their own work and their own healing. Some people are out there not doing that inner reflective grounding for themselves, and some of their behaviors might be getting more volatile. So just be mindful, like tension, the intense energy that's out there can make people do many different things. But, some people will go in the introspective self-healing journey of like, enough of this, I'm done. Let's move forward in a positive direction. And then other people like go the opposite direction and start like flying off the handle. It's a lot of displacement. I'm the victim. You're awful. Gaslighting. Blame. Pushing it off on other people. No. Boundaries are loving and healthy. Sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is call them on the behavior that makes you uncomfortable so that you can renegotiate to have a loving reciprocal balance. That is what we should all be striving for. All right, breathe. Respiratory is the main word. Breathe is the subword. And then trigger statement, I can't breathe. True statement, I open up to all possibility. You are ready to let go of the suffering so that you can take in new possibilities. Release so you can receive. Yeah, that's the thing. If you are doing that inner work, if you are working through your layers where perhaps you've picked up some baggage along your journey, where you've, been wounded and let it scab over and have a scar where, it could use a healing salve, perhaps, in an herbal sense. It's sometimes that needing to exfoliate and work through some of that. And a lot of right now, again, with this Venus retrograde and all of those things is, we've had one aspect of this is a lot of past life reflection going on, bits and pieces of our past life information presenting itself on different levels. Some people it's in their dreams, some people meditation, many different things. We are going a little bit backwards to regain the parts and pieces that we've given away, that we've lost, that we've, like the Horcruxes in a sense, but our soul retrieval of sorts, collecting our bits and pieces throughout time, place, our lifetime, and this time, all of it, so that we can heal going forward. Another way of perceiving this is that us living right now are here to help the timeline in every which direction be healed. So it's past, present, and future. The time is now. Let go of our suffering so that we can move forward in balance once and for all. You don't have to believe that. I do. So now to wrap it up, the Literary Witches Oracle. In each era, in each age, there's some catalyst that wreaks havoc, but then elicits beautiful change and progress forward. We're still here. We're still doing. So the age of Aquarius, let's let the sun shine in. Gertrude Stein, Perspective. Okay, let's unpack this image. you see this individual who looks like they've had some time on this plane, right? They're not a spring chicken, perhaps. So they've lived, and you have this mirror with the like shadowy arms. So let's see. You also have this feather that is in a cage, a rose, and a piece of paper with writing on it. Then you also have webs. I'll give it closer for Instagram. The webs in the corners with a spider. Give you the close for YouTube. And then back to the y'all. Okay. All right, so perspective. Perspective is everything. That's what the Hanged Man card talks about. It's sometimes everything gets turned on your head, and you have to look at it from a whole new field of vision to gain that perspective. And to me, this is talking about really the best way forward is that inner reflection of your higher self, your shadow self, all the parts. You sit with them, you listen, and your ancestors, your guides, guardians, helpers, angels, all of it. You sit with it, and roses, it's that divine feminine, Mother Mary, rose energy. It heals from the inside out very gently. It's a very beautiful, loving energy. All parts of the rose, you can use, maybe not all parts, but you can use the leaves as well as the rosebud and the healing, the rose hips. It's just a beautiful energy. And then this feather in the cage, to me, again, like, we can keep ourselves caged. We're our own jailers. We keep ourselves in our own boxes, our own prisons, or we can let ourselves be free to rise into that higher consciousness, right? So to me, this isn't the bird being trapped in the cage. It's been let out, and there's one remaining feather as that, like, remember how that time when you let yourself cage yourself in, when you turned yourself into that icy, bleak terrain? It's that gentle reminder to not do that. And then this piece of paper with the writing. There are many different ways our intuition, our angels, our ancestors, guides, God, whatever, however, the ascended masters, star races, et al. Can communicate with you. For some people it's numbers. Some people it's a whole slew of things, right? Songs, music, writing. For me, writing is a way that, as a young person, it was a means of survival. I didn't really understand at the time who I was talking to, what I was doing for myself, but at the same time, it really did help. So painting, gardening, anything where you let yourself flow in that space where information or the art, whatever, can just come out of you. Let it just flow. Let it be. Do it for yourself. because it's your own healing. You know, like, I dance for myself in the basement. I mean, I do it for the world too, but at the same time, like, they gave me this dance. It makes me feel better. That in and of itself. Does it matter what happens next with the dance? No. You know, like, I get this drum. I don't necessarily want to learn how to be a drummer. No, I have one beat. That's my beat, and I like it, and I play it, and it makes me feel good. That's what I'm doing. You know, don't necessarily put grandiose expectation on yourself. Like, be a child again and play and enjoy what you're doing just for the sake that it brings you that joy and happiness and good vibration. You know, appreciate the roses, appreciate nature, the web and the spider. You know, we write our own stories. Our perspective is what sets the tone. That web of life, it's all interconnected. So try your best to stay in the moment and realize that just sit with it and know that it is a journey and a process. Perhaps if you're feeling really anxious, do some journaling, do some inner reflecting, sit with yourself and breathe and listen to that voice. If you need help building that voice within, find it. Tarot is a really great way of building that, because you sit with yourself, you feel your feelings, then you draw the cards, and if they say the same thing to you, I mean, not you reading into it, but quite literally, you're like, holy crap, I just said that to myself, and then it just says it on the card. You're like, oh, you know, it's just, we're physical beings. So sometimes we really, as humans, need a physical, interactive means of getting there. So that's why things like Qigong, yoga, journaling, tarot reading, all of these physical practices, it's the same thing as sitting in meditation. It's just a different method of getting there. And it comes back to balancing spiritual and practicality. Sometimes even in the spirituality, you have to balance your action side with your intuitive side. And I have found a lot of times when I'm active in something, if I'm engaged, then it can kind of free that part of my brain that judges and tries to shut down or overly explain things. I can remove myself from that. Even washing dishes, right? Like, I could be washing dishes, my brain can be freed to just float and let information come in. And it's just that chance for that inner knowing to speak freely without the human judgy part shutting it all down. So try your best to get past in a healthy, discerning, like, again, to me, the whole point is that this inner dialogue is that loving, gentle, prompting, helpful energy that wants you to have faith in yourself, to love yourself, build your relationship with that part of you for yourself. right now. If you need help, get it. But again, doing it for yourself as yourself, because you're important. I'm important. We're all important. And if we all work to alchemize, we can bring forth fresh air. And doesn't this planet need some fresh air right now? Woo! Yes. So that is my message for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your saves, your interaction. I so very, very, very much appreciate it, enjoy it. I wish to build community in a loving, inclusive capacity. Really celebrating the multifaceted, multidimensional nature that is each of us. I am not a one-hit wonder. I'm not a one-note individual. Neither are you. So embrace your inner pantry of amazing ingredients. Best wishes, all the love. Be well, inside and out, holistically. Go team, go. I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your weekend.